All right, everybody. It is Thursday, the new time. I know if you're just seeing this for the first time, we made some announcements. The new show time is Thursday at 3 p.m. It just worked better for a lot of people's schedules, and plus a lot of people back east are up late to watch it at 4:30. So you wouldn't think that extra hour and a half made a difference, but we have a special guest.
Very special.
It's like having that's why we said lifetime of experience on the announcement. It's like having a lifetime of experience on the podcast at once. So Tony, thanks for coming on, man. How you been?
Life is good. All you're saying is I'm old. That's what I hear.
Now it's experience. Looking more and more.
Yeah, yeah. We'll tie it up with a better bow. But yeah, I'm with you. No, glad to be here. I'm excited about getting to connect and talk about our industry. So I appreciate the invite, man.
Yeah. So it's been a while, man. I think last time I talked to you was Salt Lake City, I think.
That's about right.
Last time we face-to-face talked, but you've been talking a lot with Veronica on the education stuff for the Full Throttle for the Fence Show coming up. So
Full throttle.
yeah, Full Throttle. Well, speaking of Full Throttle, man, you've been going full throttle. I mean, I don't think I've seen anybody as active as you probably in a long time. I mean, when I first met you, you were the executive director of AFA. And I remember I saw you in my inbox, LinkedIn, I think the first time we actually were speaking. I kept seeing Tony Thornton. I didn't even know the difference between the executive director and the president or a board member. I mean, I didn't know what any of that meant, right?
Yeah.
So, which is ironic right now with FWA. But I was like, and everybody's like, that's Tony Thornton. Everybody knew who you were, which was kind of cool. Then we ran into each other at one of the shows. But you've been doing a lot since then. Even I mean, you had a long run with AFA. So what's been going on since then?
Yeah. I tell everybody, this consulting gig that I did back, in 22, the foundation of my engagement with AFA for all those years really gave me this opportunity. But 8+ years with AFA. Back in 22, started the Thornton Fence Consulting Group. I tell everybody, I thought it was going to be a semi-retirement, part-time, do one every now and then, support people when they called. And then it blew up. It was just like, oh my gosh, I got more consults and more opportunities than I ever expected. I count those as blessings, So I think that through our industry, AFA offered me those opportunities, to get out there to meet people and share, some experiences. So the consulting went strong for 3+ years. As you know, Brian, you and I had a very face-to-face candid conversation that I was pulling the reins back on the consulting because there was another opportunity that presented itself. And I went down that path with our fencing supply group. No need to not to tell everyone about that. But corporate gig, I called it, the corporate, here in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, overseeing 10 branches. And what was a great 12-month opportunity, and feel like we moved the needle a little bit on the branch changes and some things that they needed. And As you've probably seen, my social media content has really beefed up over the last couple of 2 or 3 weeks. We're getting back to what Tony enjoys, and that is helping our industry, educating our industry, being support, and just being, that consultant and that mentor, that coach for our industry. So yeah, full circle. It's been good, but I'm ready to get back to being Tony.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because I went to Home Depot and bought a little mirror because I hadn't heard from you in a while. I was going to go check on you, just kind of put it under there and see and see what was going on, make sure you were still alive, because you kind of just, I mean, you were everywhere, and then all of a sudden it felt like for a little while there wasn't posts, there wasn't a lot going on. So once Veronica said you and her were talking, I was like, man, that's awesome. I go, I don't have to go save me an airline ticket. And
it's good, man. I appreciate, a lot of folks checked on me. Hey, Tony, where you're at? Hey, I'm still here. We're still doing, but we're just not as visible, So again, I like to use, we pulled the reins back. We kind of regrouped, put the effort and the focus on what Fencing Supply Group needed me to do. And now that, we've negotiated out of that contract and working our way back into our consulting, that's where we beefed up everything. Of course, I saw the show event is coming, and I reached out to Susan and Veronica to say, hey, I want to be part of this. It's time. And I almost like, okay, Veronica, put me in, coach. And it was like, are you kidding me? You give me a laundry list of like 10 things to do. I'm excited. I am pumped. A different viewpoint from, Full Throttle concept that Veronica and the team is bringing to the table. That's going to be interesting, but I think it's going to be exciting for the attendees, and definitely for the presenters. The spokesperson, so to speak. It's a little different, but I think it's going to be exciting and new, and I think it's going to be well received.
Yeah. And I think as much work is going into the education this year than actually almost putting on the show. I mean, but in the end of it, we should have a lot of good content, especially.
Yeah.
I think in the past, we've always just said, hey, Tony, would you like to come? And you'd be like, yeah, I'll teach on this, or I'll do on this. And then it was a lot of overlap. And then it wasn't really maybe the, and sometimes it's great content, but sometimes it's not always catered to that. And I think sometimes our audience is that fresh, and we do a lot of work to find people that have never been to a trade show. Maybe it's one truck, two trucks, and going in, we're trying to show people what numbers are, and while some people are saying know your numbers. So if you get into a third level accounting class on a guy that never even activated QuickBooks yet, it's just a waste of his hour and a half.
I agree. I love the concept. Veronica and I spoke about it. I actually had Alexa Churchwell, one of our associates, on the phone with us. Of course, Veronica and Alexa, have really close relations, through their industry. And Alexa and I both left the call really excited about, the opportunity. And we're pumped to be there. Now the work starts. So Veronica sent me all the content, said, okay, here's your instructor manual. Tell me what you like, what you dislike, what can we add, what can we take away. So she put me to work real quick. So I'm excited about it.
That's cool. Tell me about Alexa, though. I mean, she's worked with you for a long time, because I believe when I first started the association, we talked about her, I think.
Yes.
So I mean, so she's been working with you side by side on a lot of stuff. Now this Canada as well, probably, right? And a bunch of other stuff you got going on.
Yes. Alexa and I got to know each other when I became the executive director with AFA. Back in 2014, 8-year plus. I tell everybody she was my right hand. She knew logistically and operationally. Alexa's just got it focused and does a tremendous job. And, after I semi-retired, I was gone a couple of years, and then Alexa and AFA parted ways and said, hey, there's other opportunities there. I picked up the phone and said, hey, if you want something to do, I got something for you to do. And she said, well, heck yeah, let's make this happen. At that same time, we had just negotiated the contract with the Canadian Fence Association to manage their organization. So, man, you talk about perfect fit. Okay, Alexa, here's Canadian Fence Association, run it. I'll get on the calls, I'll do what I need to do to support you, but you know what to do with association work. So it's just been a great relationship. And she brings so much, like I said, logistics, operational, fence knowledge, honestly, fence industry, and even management knowledge to the table. And she's really helped us grow the Canadian Fence Association. We've grown membership, we've grown the event, all those pieces of the puzzle that she brought to the table. So, yeah, she and I have been, I guess it's been 8, 10, 11, 12 plus years now that
Wow. Well,
we've worked together.
knock
So,
on
yeah,
wood, because that's not easy to find anymore, right?
yeah, yeah, that's just true. But she and I think a lot alike, and especially when it comes to helping out, the industry and trying to improve things. So, and of course, we got Mike Gullidge as another associate that works with us, and he does a lot with the Thornton Fence Consulting Group on the gate operator training and those type things, and supporting backup for me, when we got to do follow up with the consults and all. So we've got a really good team. It's small, but it's powerful. That's what I
Yeah.
like to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in a way you kind of laid the foundation a little bit for the direction the industry, part of it anyway, you know what I mean? That the direction the industry is probably still going with the work that you did in 8-10 years over at AFA. So I think you woke it up a little bit, you know what I mean, as well, and you were pretty active. So like I said, back when we first met, I mean, it's definitely the conversations we had was some of the best I had in the industry. But
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
And Tony, quick question as I was listening to, because Brian tends to drown me out. I get it, I'm Australian, no one wants listed. But tell me a little bit, because that's interesting, the Canadian move. You're at AFA, then you helped out in Canada. How was that transition? Is it very different to? I'm assuming it's very similar, but also different at the same time.
It is. It's very similar. The way that the Canadian Fence Association opportunity came around was I was the first year that I became a consultant, I was requested to be a keynote speaker at the Canadian Fence Association event in Niagara Falls. I tell everybody the story. I actually had to get a passport. I was 60 something years old. I had never had a passport. I had to get a passport to drive from New York over to Niagara, right? So I got to show my passport. I was so excited, but spoke as a keynote speaker and got to know a lot of those guys and, individuals. And then the next year I was at Fence Tech. We were doing the show, and a lot of those board members came up to me and said, "Hey, Tony, great to have you this last year. Wish we could have had you back this year. We had a scheduling conflict, couldn't make it the second year." But it was just like the president at the time, he says, "Would you be interested in running the Canadian Fence Association?" I looked at him. I said, "Wow, that's okay. That was out of the blue, but let's have a conversation." So finished up the show, had the conversation, did the due diligence on what it was going to take and how it looked. Canadian Fence Association, FWA, AFA, they're all in it for the right reasons. Let's help the industry, right? Let's help the members first, and let's help the industry second, because that goes hand in hand. But they just had not had any strong management, of what they were trying to accomplish, had really not had a strong strategic plan. We brought a lot of the concepts of what it looked like to the table. We told them and showed them some examples, and they said, "Yeah, let's do this." One thing that they had never done well was education. So we've got the Canadian Fence Association certification programs that we're doing now. We brought all of the education protocols on fence installation, gate operator training, business, you name it. We're building out a standards protocol for Canadian industry right now through a committee. So we got a lot of good positive things going on. And we were very blessed to have the largest summit. They call their Fence Tech, their fence show, the summit. We had the largest summit this past year, that they had ever held, and it was just phenomenal. So we see the growth. We got a lot of good support from the board and from their members, and it's always going to be a small group simply because of the geographical layout that they have up there. But Sasha, they're excited about what they can do for the Canadian industry, just like we're excited about what we can do for the States industry. So yeah, it's a good fit.
Yeah. And I don't know if I ever told you, I had a couple trucks up in Canada. I was going to relocate a couple of vehicles, and some of my wife's family moved up there and stuff, and I love it. It's beautiful. I mean, you've been up there visiting.
Oh yeah,
It's, you know,
absolutely.
I got temporary residency. I got a Canadian driver's license. I set up a company and a couple trucks, and then it was 2019, and we did our first couple of jobs. What's that? Canadian Tire, like Canada Tire, and a couple of. We had some
Mhm.
good. We were getting some accounts. I just did one for them and another seafood restaurant, and then COVID hit, and then I had to. And even with I was able to go back and forth because of my temporary residency because the company and stuff that I set up, right? And
Yeah,
um, but I still had to go there and then had to sit in the house that I had there for like 2 weeks before I could leave the house, regardless of whether all that. So I'm like, man, this ain't gonna work. I used to fly
yeah,
up on Wednesday, like they had like some airline, I don't remember what the name of it, that would
yeah.
fly straight to where my house was, like Swoop Airlines. I don't know if you ever heard of that. But
That's cool.
Swoop, it was called. So it was like 30, $40. It would fly in on a Wednesday, like kind of like an Allegiant thing where it'd fly in on a Wednesday, but there was only one other day it would leave like on a
Yeah,
Sunday.
it's
That
one
just
day
that
in, one day out. Yeah,
so you could go and work for a few days and kind of run. And I had my brother-in-law up there, but I can't go. I couldn't go there for 2 weeks, so it kind of just dissolved it all.
yeah,
But Canada is,
yeah,
you know what I think of Canada? It's kind of like where we were in the '80s when it came to almost like the regulations on the fencing and the licensing.
yeah.
It's really tied together though really well. Like it's
Hmm.
one portal to get your business license, get your licensing, set up for your workers' comp. I
Yeah,
mean, all really synced really well together. But it's like it at the same time it's really synced well together, and the state kind of or the country owns the workers' comp and all. I mean, it's
yeah.
just
It's
it's like
different, but it some of it works, right?
yeah, it's like one big union or something
So
for yeah.
Yeah,
it was a cool in trying to know your experience because where my background now was fly. And Evan Gardner had a question that popped up, which I think is a cool question because he asked, there it is, thank you. I have a lot of
yeah,
folks in Canada wanting my products. I just don't know how to sell or ship it. So what we've come across from the US side,
yeah,
we can't ship into Canada. It's very hard. You have to be broken in Canada. So there's really good people, Evan, out there that you can partner up with that will take your products and they'll broker it for you because it's super hard. We got stuck at the border. I thought, oh, it's just a truck. I'm sending it across the border. It can't be that hard. Oh,
yeah,
that truck stuck, got stopped. And then thank goodness to one of my clients, he helped me get it across. And from then on, I've just used him to I will sell it to him and he'll sell it to
yeah,
sell it on because that was the one hard thing from a supplier's perspective, selling into Canada.
yeah.
From the
It's
US side.
difficult. It's difficult going both ways, especially with our new tariffs that are in
Yeah.
place. Okay, just I mean, let's just put it on the
Oh, yeah.
table. The tariffs are hard and expensive, but the key to that, Sasha, is exactly what you said. A good broker that outlines exactly what we're trying to get in. Okay, there are going to be costs associated with that brokerage firm, and then there's going to be costs on top of that for the tariffs, right? But it's all relationships. I mean, everything that we do is based on relationships,
Yep.
and you got to find the good relationships in order to make that happen. I mean, I know Evan quite well. He's got a great product and phenomenal, concepts of things. We could connect him with the right people in the Canadian market that are wholesalers and distributors. At the same time, they already have those brokers and people in place. So all we got to do is backdoor it, so to speak, to make the connections. And I love getting people connected. So offline, certainly Evan and I need to connect and see if we can get them, with the right people to make some things happen for them. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I found for us, we do a fair bit in Canada, but through one supplier that, like you said, Tony, real great relationship. Shout out to OK Vinyl. I love that team and Brad and his
Oh
team.
yeah,
Been very good to us. And that's sort of, we just fell in it, like a lot of
yeah,
things in fencing, you just sort of go, hey, I'm at the border now, what am I going to do, but it's,
yeah,
yeah, there's definitely a way. I feel like the
yeah,
Canadian market too is, it's a market that's a little bit, I won't call it island, but we have the border. I find it's easier to ship in through port than it is to cross the border. But I think
It's almost
there's a lot
true.
we can do. You know, there's a lot we
Yeah.
can do together.
You guys got it all wrong. You guys got it all wrong. Did you guys know how this works? Kind of like what JC Gurry does. They use UPS, but it's all samples, you guys. You got to call it a sample.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't call it a sample.
Truckload of samples, all those green tools that Evan's going to shoot there's the samples. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Evan stuff. The wing tools can probably go samples. No, don't
You
break
don't
into
miss
lots
it.
because of me. All right,
Yeah.
where's that disclaimer, Susan? Put one across there that I'm not telling everybody to.
You're right though. It's the relationships like Brad. I mean, I've known Brad for many years. I actually went up there and did a big training event at his facility for the Canadian Fence Association.
Yeah.
Phenomenal interest, phenomenal engagement. What I found about the Canadian industry, a little bit different than what we have here in the States, is it's fragmented. You know, you've got a group of a large metropolitan area here, and here, and there's so much ground in between that you just can't cover, right? So the large metropolitan areas are the keys. It won't ever be the size of a FWA or an AFA or even a NAFCA, you know, but I mean, those guys that are part of that are engaged, they're focused, they want to help. And right now, the biggest challenge is getting their Canadian fence standards to where everybody's on the same page. And that's been a big challenge for them. So one guy goes out and puts the fence in using an 0.65 wall thickness, and this guy says, well, I'm going to quote it with a Schedule 40, and there's no standard. So, we talk standards all day long, but at the end of the day, it puts everybody on the same page with a fence product standard that everybody's bidding the right thing. Apples and apples is what we say, oranges and oranges. But that's been one of the biggest challenges. And they only had a chain link somewhat commercial standard. They didn't have any other standards they don't have any other standards for any other discipline of our fencing industry. So I think it's going to be an interesting, opportunity for the standards group, the standards committee through the CFA that's working on all of that to bring in the right people, but this is the perfect opportunity to get it right on the front side, right? Ask all the right questions, so I'm excited for it. I'll just try to facilitate it.
The wood fence up there too, it's a lot of panels. So they use a lot of panels on the wood fence. And then you come down here and it's like you grab a truckload of wood panels and everybody just tears you apart. But up there, right? I mean, they lose their minds if you show up, if they see you out installing wooden panels, right? I don't care if this was the best quality wood you could find on the planet and you grew the trees yourselves and you milled it and it was the most beautiful, there wasn't a knot in it, they would still tear you apart because it was a panel, right? Up in Canada, it's almost all panels. I mean, and they're not bad quality either when you see them.
No. But Brian, you travel the U.S. I mean, there's segments of the states that use panel built type fencing versus what I call stick built. Everything stick built. And then you got the no digs and the dig and cement and the dry mix and all the other things. I just keep telling everybody there's room for all of it, man. Do what you like to do. Tune it up, get it efficient. Let's make some money, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the goal is to make some money to enjoy life. And, there's a lot of people that do every bit of it a little bit different. But at the end of the day, it's still the quality of the fence is still there on the other end.
I'll tell you one thing, Tony. If you needed me to build you a wood fence in your backyard and you wanted it straight, you want me using panels. That's your best chance of getting a straight fence out of me.
I'm right the opposite. If you wanted me to build you a straight fence in California, I would have to piecemeal it, right?
I don't even know if I have the tools to build one. It's all steel and chain. I think give me a 20-foot tall fence, no problem, around a building, no problem. Give me 50 feet of wood fence in your backyard, I'll screw it up all day long.
I love it. That just talks about different regions, different concepts, different methods. End result, still positive. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. So I did want to bring this up a little bit. I mean, I know things have changed since we talked off camera a little bit about when we started doing sales, and we both did. I mean, I think we all know that you were younger and you got picked up and by a gentleman that said, hey, you're going to go build fence, and that happened to have been a family friend for you, but for most of us it was our uncles or our fathers or something like that. Right. And you weren't really, it's not like you went out and applied for the job and you said, hey, I'm going to go build fence for the rest of my life. You can stay in the business. It's just, it happenstances
Yeah.
across it somehow. But back then it was different. I mean, when we did a sale, you obviously moved beyond that installing or just digging holes and being yelled at by some grumpy guy in a fence shop. We moved past that, and eventually we're doing sales, right? And when we all started doing sales, it was different. I mean, you had a tablet, you got a phone call, and tell me about your experience when the first time you did a sales call. What was that like?
Oh, I'll just say that the industry has it really good now. Okay. So let's go back 40 plus years, early 20s, not only, installing fence, but dual purpose and doing a little sales. Okay. It was a piece of, it was a binder, a spiral binder. You walk in the backyard, you draw it out, and then you wheel it off or you use a tape, and then you ask the customer all the questions. We had some pictures to show, but at the end of the day, we had to go back to the office to figure out what they needed, right? And we only offered like 5 or 6 different things. This was the basic wood fence, basic shadow box, and here's your 4-foot chain link fence, right? So, I guess it was as old school as you're going to get, because it just all had to be done manually. There wasn't even spreadsheets in place back then that could do the calculations automatically. That was just when CFS was really getting strong, okay, which is now our Fence Cloud product. But the CFS product was still in really early stages, right? We had it, but then the build out was like cumbersome as it could be. But you're right, Brian. I mean, things have changed and evolved. The technology that we have available to us right now, from 3D, looking at a fence in a backyard before you even sign off on it, the technology and estimate, man, give me an estimating software like an ArcSight, like a Job Nimbus, like a Contractor Accelerator. The list goes on of all those that are out there. Back when we were in the industry selling, man, we'd have been outperforming everybody, right? It would, because we knew what we needed to do. We were installers, so we knew what questions to ask, and we knew what we were visually looking at. Give me a tool like that, and man, I probably would have been retired by now.
Well, because I think because you'd have salespeople using the tools instead of order takers using the tools, and there's a difference because you're still got the sales mentality while you're using the tools. So I think we had to be salespeopeople back then. Let's face it. If you went out there, even if it was something we could figure out, we hand wrote the quotes up and we draw it out. Use a business card, whatever we had to draw. Isn't it amazing if you go back what we could draw with a business card and a pen or a pencil and anything, right? And
from McDonald's,
this is true.
Yeah, it was almost like blueprints on a quote.
Oh, and it's unbelievable. Yeah, it's
the old, and I won't say the oldest. I think we had to be really relational back then. Like it's not that they're not there. Great salespeople today are out there and they understand that concept. But when you're sort of walking in, looking at someone right there, and it was very in your eyes, a handshake, you had that moment that you have to create a relationship more than ever. Because nowadays, while there is a relationship to create, I feel like the screens stop it being as number one. It's like, okay, Mrs. Jones, I've got it. Here's your drawing. I can have it to you. Like I'm drawing it right. These guys are drawing it right there, and then here's your bid right there, and then on the spot. And I feel like what we had to do was that relational, like really hardcore, like push. And maybe have to come back 3 times. But now I don't know if it's harder or easier now. I think it might be the other way, because now it's like you've got technology that speeds everything up, but it takes away that really important step of that relationship. I know what you think about that.
I agree with you to some extent, because back 30, 40 years ago, truly, you needed to establish that trust and that relationship almost immediately. It was that handshake, okay? We've got tools in place now that we don't even have to have the customer there, right? So I'm a relationship guy. I may not remember the name, but I will remember the face, and I'm going to shake a hand every time I see somebody. There's something to talk about, right? And that's what was expected of us back then, because we were salesmen that was going to meet a client, a customer, and they wanted to hear what we had to say because we were the professional. We are the professional. We're the specialist, right? Now, okay, we're living in this, okay, pass on that screen, move on to the next one. We're living in immediate, access time now. And that's what they're expecting now. Do y'all agree? So the speed of quote, the speed of estimate, those type things have changed our industry completely. I tell everybody through my consults, man, if we're not quoting them on the doorstep, we're missing an opportunity. If we're not closing while we're there, we're missing on an opportunity. The days of going back to the office and figuring it up, the worst case scenario should be you go to your truck, you pull up your app, you put that quote together, you email it to them, and then you take it back up there because you got a printer under your back seat and you're showing them what to do. The days of carbon copy, okay, sheets that we grew up with, it ain't happening these days. Okay. Now I actually got a client that still does that. I ain't changing, Tony. That's that. If you like it, I love it. Right. But I think the era of time, demands on people's time, technology has definitely changed the way our industry has moved along, and it's not all bad.
Yeah, it's good, but I think that I embrace technology as much as anybody. I think the big change was it wasn't even Excel. We're talking about some of the other spreadsheet programs, Lotus 1-2-3, and all of those spreadsheet programs when they first came out. That was a game changer because then we could create our own estimating programs, and we can actually draw a quote form up, and then we had dot matrix printers, and and those dot matrix printers, by the way, would print on our carbon. Do you remember those? It would print on our carbon.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
Right? So, and it would go all the way through them. So,
hey, look here. I still got one. It's four sheets deep, man. 4 sheets deep. I pull this out when I show people what technology can do for them. We moved away from this 4 sheets of carbon copy to technology that will do it for you and never have to press the pen real hard. Okay. Yeah. So I keep this just because it's just such a reminder, I guess,
So Tony, that leads us into this question, and so we're talking about, you two back in the dinosaur era, and then all of us other guys as we're growing up. But what's the big change? Like, where is fencing going? I know this is a very broad question, but where do you think? Because you two, especially you and Brian, put together, and the experiences you experienced back in your days. Then I got into fencing about 2011. And I know it was different. Then it changed. We went from more packaged stuff, like more cookie cutter panels, like iron. We sort of did change. And now, fast forward to today, like, where is fencing? Do you think going? Like, where are we at as an industry at the moment, or where are we heading?
That's a tough question.
That is a hard question, and it's going to be a little bit different throughout the country. But I will say this: our industry has for the last 12, 15, even 20 years been on an uphill trajectory of profitability. Okay. Growth. I would say growth. Yes, we all know that residential has slowed down considerably here in 2026, but look at what the commercial market did. It absolutely exploded. COVID changed everything about the way we thought we needed to do business, right? And we're still reaping the benefits from that. We're also reaping some of the headaches and challenges from that. But at the end of the day, those individuals, I would say this, the individuals that are running fence companies today are not what it was 20 years ago. It was the Brians and Tonys that come from the fencing industry. We grew up in it, and now we're going to decide we're going to run a business. I had a great conversation with a client today. He said, Tony, most fence contractors are good craftsmen, but they're not CFOs and CEOs, right? So that's where we come into play to help them understand how to run their business more efficiently and profitably. But we've got those efficient and profitable people now saying, hey, I'm going to buy that fence company. That's pretty cool. The key to it is finding the right fence guy or gal to put in there to make that work, right? So I don't know that our industry is ever going to take a downward, trend. I think we will continue seeing that 10, 12% growth every year, which has kind of been the industry growth. But the way that we do business will continue to change with as much acquisition and private equity money that's being thrown at our industry right now, the home services industry as a whole. The guys like Jerry Jeffcoat, okay, 80 something years old, still going to work every day, that I grew up with. Those guys are what I would say are just some icons that, we had to learn how to do it from them in order to get where we are right now. Right. Brian, I mean, what's your take on it? I mean, you've seen it over the years. I mean, you started your company, you grew up in the industry.
I mean, as everybody knows, I worry about the industry. I worry about protecting what makes it great and what we have, and that made it able for me to be able to do the fence company, for anybody to get into our industry, and for that guy to say, I'm tired of driving a forklift at Southern Wine and Spirits. I know how to build fence, and I'm going to start doing it on the weekends, and then grow into, me. I believe if we got someone crazy enough to dig holes with us, we need to turn them into a full-time fencer, right?
I like it.
So, I mean, I don't believe we should chase them off. So I worry that that the opportunities won't be there for that guy that just wants to build. I mean, let's face it, the industry, what I see, we all think different things about the industry is great. And what I think is great about the industry is you take David Gatto, or what's his name? David guy from
Dave.
I mean, think about him. I mean, he's a prime example, and not just him, but other people. Is he's built a life for himself and his family and his kids, and now his kids hopefully will change the lives of all those people. And the reason he was able to do that was because of how the industry is structured now. And as we see more consolidation, and as we see, over regulations and all this stuff, I think we make it harder and harder. And while don't get me wrong, I'm established, so I'm on the same boat. I mean, if you look at me as Brian, what do you want to do to protect Las Vegas fence? Yeah, I want to make it so tough that nobody can get a license. And Nevada is the hardest, one of the hardest states.
Yeah, it is one of the hardest states.
So I guess that's when the trajectory going up, to answer that real quick, the trajectory going up, I wonder if that, I mean, I remember when a 6-foot chain link fence sold for $7 a foot, a 5-foot chain link fence sold for $6 a foot. I mean, we literally would add $1 for every height of the fence, and now it's $25 and $30 a foot. So we see a 12 to 15 or 14% increase in a year. Was that, profitability, or was that actually just because material costs have went up 15, 20%? You know what I mean? Or was there actually more jobs, or was there just less jobs and it costs more to do them?
I have this conversation with a lot of contractors every week. Okay. Materials cost so much. And I remind them what they're paying for materials, everybody else is paying for it too, within a couple of points. Don't get me wrong. There's some high volume buyers out there, but within a couple of points, every contractor has to deal with the inflation, the price increase, and even our labor price increase. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, when I started, minimum wage was $3, $3.25, right? I mean, look what it is now. You don't even talk about minimum wage anymore, right? We talk about what the market will bear to pay somebody, and what it takes for that individual, especially if they're married and have children and have a house they got to pay for. Those numbers are completely different. So I think that everything that we're doing industry-wise is all market-driven. Definitely will be price-driven. But those individuals that figure out, I can buy material at this, my labor cost is this, I know what margin I got to make to keep my doors open, take care of my team, those are the guys that are going to have the success. And that's where a lot of these business-minded people are coming into our industry now, and then finding a Sasha, Tony, or a Brian to say, hey, run this thing for me, right? And they're making great money, right? So it's a win-win. What I've been so impressed with over the last, I would say 20 years, most specifically, is the tools. And then on top of the tools, it's the techniques. I mean, it's game-changing techniques and tools out there now that if we had those back in our day, I mean, again, it'd been like, okay, Katie bar the door. I mean, this is over. We're making millions now. Right.
There'd be a lot of guys out there with more fingers. I'll tell you that much.
This is true. Right? I mean, every time I teach how to do a cut-in gate, a walk-in cut-in gate on a wood fence, people are like, I've never cut in a gate. Well, let me show you how to do a cut-in gate. And we're doing it with a cordless saw. And I'm like, okay, guys, this impact wrench used to have an extension cord on it, and the ground was off of it. And I'm sitting here handling it, and I'm getting shocked to put the bolt in, the 5/16 lag bolt. Okay, guys, y'all don't know how good you got it. It just goes in one ear and out the other because they didn't have that
Yeah.
experience, right? That's why I appreciate our industry so much is we've evolved, we've changed, and we've been good at what we do, and we're only getting better and more efficient and hopefully more profitable. So
I think it's better. I mean, honestly, I mean, I go out every once in a while and I got to help somebody do a gate or something. They got an impact. And I just remember the fence pliers was everything. I mean, you had a pair of fence pliers and your hot wing pliers, and that was pretty much it. And then we had our
Yep.
pipe cutter, the rigid pipe cutter, and that's what we cut everything with. We cut the top
Great.
of every post op. We cut every piece of rail with a rigid
Yes.
pipe cutter. There was no, like, we didn't even have generators. We didn't bring nothing out to the jobs, right?
I'm with you. 100%.
Premix
100%.
concrete, I don't even know premix concrete. I don't even know, they may have had it, but all I know is whatever jerk that we worked for at the time that was mean to us was not gonna let us get premix. We had sand, gravel, and right,
I grew up that's exactly the way I call it hand mix. It was a hand mix. It was a 3-2-1 mix, man. If you didn't do 3-2-1 every time, we're in trouble, Yeah. Well, you're bringing back some good memories. I love it.
And I think that's why you say something like it's a little different now. I mean, we went through the abuse, and it was, I mean, there was nobody to complain to. And I mean, I remember I got marks on the back of my leg. I get hit. My uncle Bob would hit me with a pair of fence pliers, and but he would get me in the same. No, he would get me in the same spot. It was like a target right there, and it would just like if I walked back to the truck with nothing in my hand. I mean, I would just carry shit because
no, you don't take a step without going in one direction or the other with something in your hand. That's for sure. That's efficient.
If you walked past a piece of scrap on the ground and you didn't pick it up, I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah. You was in for a fussing or a cussing, whichever one they was going to throw at you. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Hey, so fill me in on Thornton Fence Consulting. What's going on with that? I mean, now that you're back on it, I know you're back. You're going to be going pretty soon. Or are you still at FSG Group now?
Yeah, my contract is through the 26th of this month, end of June. They give me the grace to go ahead and get my marketing back up and running. So that's where you've seen all the social media content. We're real excited about a new product, or I wouldn't say product, a new opportunity for our industry called the Fence Masters Group. Okay, now this is a masterminds group that we're bringing to the industry. It will be a membership based group where you'll pay a small fee monthly to participate. You pay annually, you get a discount off. But this is going to be for contractors, startups, experience, whatever. I've got my founders group being drafted right now. Got a lot of really strong founders. But what that mastermind group is going to do, Brian, is have a monthly call, and we're going to talk about something, price for profitability. And it's not just going to be Tony Thornton. I'll be there to facilitate and pull out the questions, but we're going to have a Brian or a Sasha or somebody that's had success in that area in their company be that spokesperson to say, this is what I found. And we're also going to go right in the opposite direction. We're going to find those guys that screwed it up, those guys that had challenges, that had failures, to say, let me tell you why I failed. Let me help you not have that failure. So it's a mastermind group. It's going to be called the Fence Masters Group. I've done a soft launch on the website. It's called the Masters. And like I say, it'll be a membership-based thing. I sent out an email today to all my clients to say, hey, if you're interested, I'm going to give you a soft launch here. But we're going 100% live on June 19th, just in a couple of weeks, a week.
What's the website for that? Because I know that I promised I wouldn't keep you for an hour and a half. And trust me,
no, it's fine. It's fine. I've got a few extra minutes. Just go to Sure. It's fenceconsultinggroup.com. It's our TFC group, fenceconsultinggroup.com. Okay. And then just click on the Masters button, and it outlines two pages of what benefits are to be part of this thing. And we're going to be introducing it at the Fence Show in October, and hopefully bringing some people, into the booth to say, let me share what this is going to be about. But it's a peer-to-peer collaboration group is what it is. And I mean, we know how strong that is, right? So people that's been there, done it, and willing to share and teach and provide some input. So I'm excited about it. I've seen it work in other trade industries, landscaping and electrical especially. And I said, why not for the fencing space, and why not me bringing it to the table? So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited about it.
It's awesome.
I think you got a little experience in that, so.
Yeah, just a
We might
little
be
bit.
able to help a few.
And you
And
got some books.
we're
books
still
to
going to be
prove it.
doing our consults too. We're still going to be
Yeah.
doing our consults. You know,
So we're gonna leave that up. Obviously, anybody that wants to learn more, you can come talk to a big person about it at the Fence Show.
Yep.
You know, coming up in October. So go to fenceshow.com and register for that. But we're gonna leave this up for Tony for fenceconsultinggroup.com. If you're listening, go check that out and get signed up or ask him. I'm sure you can reach out to him or Mike or somebody through there.
Sure.
But the reason I was going to rush on that is I want to get to these rapid fire questions.
Let's do it.
And make sure we got those in there. Now, these are questions
Man.
I haven't even seen yet.
Sasha, it better not be a setup, dude.
I can't even read English as an Australian, so good luck understanding these.
Yeah. I've got to really listen to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, here we go. So, what's the most underrated skill in fencing?
I think layout and just how to do. You know, I mean, think on your feet type thing. I think that's the most underrated. I mean, those guys that can really make a decision real quick because they've been there, they've done it, they know what to do. I think it's layout and decision making.
Love it. We'll keep going. These are going to be fast. So I'm going to throw them out. Your biggest waste of money in operations. That's a tough one. It's a lot.
Just the procedure. The procedure. It's the workflow and the procedure. They screwed it up.
Yeah.
Well, here's one for you for the ages for you guys. Hardest employee to replace.
Oh, I know that's not me.
It should be us. I've had to fire a few CEOs through the consults, but the hardest one to not have is the labor, the craftsman, the installer, right? I mean, those guys are hard to find these days, and they're difficult to train because we just got a whole different generation of people.
Yeah, it's true. And it's scary. All right, I'll keep going. I've got 3 left for you. Salesperson or installer, which is harder to find?
Salesperson.
Okay. I would have gone installer. Can you why salesperson?
I think that the installer, I mean, you find those individuals that want to be hands-on, you can train them on the installation. It's harder to train a salesperson to understand how to read people. That's just my perspective, okay?
No,
it's also different at different parts of the country as well. I need a good salesperson, not just somebody that sells it cheap, but sells it for profitable and understands how to make sure we build a strong relationship and take care of the client, and that client's going to call that salesman back in 5 years when they move across town for another fence. That's hard to find, in my opinion.
No, I like it. That's
100%.
Okay, 2 left. Biggest leadership mistake owners make?
Getting in the way.
I love it. Yep.
Get your hands out of it. Hire good people, train them, set an expectation, and you can hold them accountable. But if you got to answer every question and you got to do everything, you're going to die right there in the operations room because you got to be involved with everything. So get out of your own way. Get out of your own way.
All right.
Man,
That one just went right through me, Tony. It went right through me.
Hey, Brian, but that's the hardest part about being an entrepreneur and an owner, okay? Because it's your baby. You've got it to where it's at. Nobody would have got it there without you because you were the driver. And the hardest part of it is letting go when you hire the right people. It's hard. It's hard.
I feel better right after that. I feel better. Everybody who's listening just feel better
don't
right
worry.
there.
We've got no hope. Last question. Lucky last. One thing you wish you knew 30 years ago.
Don't get in the truck.
Don't do fence. Don't do fence.
I get people all the time call say, Tony, I'm thinking about buying a fence company. I say, man, can I try to talk you out of it? Repeat that question, Sasha. I want to answer this. Give me that question again.
Now, this is a good one. This is a great one to end the night with. One thing you wish you knew 30 years ago.
Understanding people better.
Okay.
I think my people skills. I wish 30 years ago that I had been a better people skill person.
There you go.
I think I've developed that over the years, but man, in my early career, I think that, if I'd been better then, I probably would be better now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. There you go. That's rapid fire.
That was some good questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. And hey, audience that's listening, that was not pre-set up. We didn't have any idea, right, Brian? I mean, yeah,
You're gonna have to go rewatch your own answers. You know that.
that's right. Why did I say that, though?
Why would I say that? Let me change that, right?
That's funny.
Hey, Tony,
That's
thank
funny.
you for coming on, man. It's always good getting to catch up, and I'm sure we'll catch up some more before October, and I'll see you in October. Thanks again for working with Veronica on some of these classes. I know it brings another layer of experience to the full throttle education we're doing. So I'm grateful for you for being willing to come down there and talk to everybody. So thank you for that and for coming on.
Well, let me say thank you too, Brian, for the effort and work that you put into FWA and getting it to where it's at today. It's making some differences in our industry, and together we grow together as an industry. So thank you and the team that's putting everything into it. So anything that I can do and ever help, I'm there to do it. So appreciate it. Also,
right.
Appreciate the invitation to be here today. Thank y'all.
You got it. Everybody's listening. Go to fenceconsultinggroup.com if you want to hear more about his mastermind stuff coming up, or if you want to bump into him at the Fence Show, go to fenceshow.com. We will see you guys next week. And don't forget, we changed the time. It is Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, the only time zone that matters. But we'll see you guys next week. Thanks, man.
Thanks.